Hello my friends and welcome once again to another episode of Tony's Comfort Kitchen, a home of comfort food. It's not very often that I make a dessert on this channel. In fact, I think I only have one previous video, which was a cherry clafouti, which is a fantastic dessert. And if you want, I will put a link to that video at the end of this video, so you can go and check it out if you fancy making a cherry clafouti. But hopefully you'll watch this one first. Basically, I tend to do dessert videos when I have an excess of fruit or eggs in my garden. And at the moment, I have both. I have an excess of plums, and I have an excess of eggs from my lovely two hens who seem to just keep laying. They're amazing. So I've decided to do this bread and butter pudding. Now, it's not a usual bread and butter pudding because that's usually a sort of a winter pudding with dried fruit, but it works just as well with fresh fruit, I can assure you. And plums, they just give it that lovely colour, that deep red juice that comes out of the plums. So let's crack on with it. Okay, so as usual, here are the ingredients. First of all, starting out with 12 plums, the very ripe, juicy plums. I have 125 grams of sugar. I have slices of bread. Now, this is brioche bread, but you can pretty much use any bread you want. General sort of thick cut, crusty bread will work perfectly fine. You will need to probably cut off the crust if you're using that. But I'm using brioche bread, and it's obviously quite soft, so I don't need to. So enough slices of bread. I'm basically going to cut them in half and set them up in the dish that I'm going to use. We've got around about 25 grams of butter, or butter enough. We're going to butter each slice of bread before we put them in the dish. Now then, I have some vanilla sugar here that we get in France. If you can't get hold of that, you can just use a few drops of vanilla essence, which will just do the same thing. And then in here I have, if you see it, I have 500 millilitres of cream mixed with 200 millilitres of water. And then I have, in this bowl, I have 3 eggs, my hen's eggs, 3 eggs and then 2 yolks as well, so 5 in all. Now again, I'll put all the ingredients in the description below, so don't worry if you haven't picked up. And that's it. So the first thing we'll do, we need to cut these, de-stone these and cut them in half, and we'll put them on a baking tray, and we're going to put them in the oven. Oh, I forgot to say, as well as the 125 grams of sugar, you're going to need a little bit of extra sugar to put on the halves of the plums. Right, so we'll start by de-stoning these plums, which I always find a bit difficult. And then we'll place them on the baking tray. And to do this without putting my hands in the way of the camera, it's not easy. Okay, that's the last of the plums de-stoned and cut in half. I don't know if I've mentioned that there's actually 12 plums there, but you can use as many as you want, so obviously that's 24. And now we need to put some sugar on the halves. Just a small, about 1/3 of a teaspoon or so on each half. These things are all already very sweet, but we'll just make them even sweeter. And these will now go into the oven for about 10 minutes or so, until the juices start to run out. The temperature is at 200 degrees Celsius, so that's around about 400 Fahrenheit, and they've been there for about 10 minutes or so. Okay, while they're cooking in the oven there, we'll just get the custard, as I say, ready. So I'll just whisk up the eggs. And then we'll add the 125 grams of sugar. Let's mix those up. And into that I will add the vanilla sugar, or you can add your vanilla essence if that's what you have. And then finally put in the cream and the milk. Actually a low-fat milk, a low-fat cream that I'm using. Use whatever cream you want. Just mix it all together. Okay, so we'll just get each slice and simply butter it. And in my case, because of the depth of my dish, which is up here, I cut the bread in half, but it all depends on the size of your dish. I don't know if you can see this on the camera. And that's that. I had 8 originally. I had to go and get another slice because it wasn't enough. So that is where we're at. So we're just waiting for the plums to finish cooking, and then we will add the plums in between the slices of bread, and then we'll pour over that lovely custard. Okay, so they've actually only been in about 7 minutes, and they look as though they're pretty much ready. It's just a case of spooning them out and putting them. This is difficult to do because everything's so hot. Put them in between the slices of bread. Ooh, lovely colours. No, they won't go too many, but they won't go to waste. Just keep placing them hither and thither. And now it's time to pour this over the, this is not going to be easy, pour this over the whole dessert. Now, it might seem that there's too much at first, but the bread will soak it up. So this looks mega. Just push the bread back down into the custard because it will rise up a little bit. And that's it. It goes into the oven now at 170 degrees Celsius. I think that's about 340 Fahrenheit for around 30 to 40 minutes. So I'll keep my eye on it, but I'm sure it will be okay at that time. Okay, so here it is, my friends. It's out of the oven now, and it's been sitting for about 10 minutes because it's absolutely piping hot. So I'm just going to dig in. Okay, my friends, I'm going to dig in. Now, I've eaten this every year for the past, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years. every year that I have a lot of plums in my garden and eggs from the chickens, of course. So I know what it's going to be like, and I'll just eat it. Ooh, hot. Oh, that's delicious. Now I use the brioche bread, but you could just use normal bread, as I say. Just cut the crusts off. It's really creamy and very fruity, obviously, with the plums in. It's just a great take on the traditional bread and butter pudding, which is always done traditionally with dried fruit. Obviously that makes it a winter, well, doesn't make it a winter dish, but it's usually a winter dish. Whereas this, with the fresh fruit in it, is obviously a summer dish. But it's, oh man, it is delightful. Plum. Give it a go, honestly. Give it a go, you'll be amazed. You can have this hot, warm, cold, it doesn't matter. It's just as tasty, whatever temperature you eat it up. So please like, comment and subscribe as per usual, and I will see you in the next video. So peace and love, my friends. Peace and love.